Around the time of the launch of Pokemon X and Y, series art director and original concept designer Ken Sugimori told We Love Pokemon magazine, "We will try to simplify the designs of the new Pokemon introduced in the next installment, perhaps returning to the first generation, basing them on animals or not so well-known stylized." Obviously a poor translation, but the idea here is that he wanted to stay away from having wacky, complex designs like in some of the previous generations. He wanted to go back to the series' roots. And even just looking at the starter Pokemon for Sun and Moon, I think it's very easy to tell that with simple form and shapes, they absolutely nailed that goal. There are a lot of very interesting concept sketches by Ken Sugimori for the original Pokemon Red and Blue, at the time called Capsule Monsters. But this is the earliest image I could find of the original starters in their now famous forms. Unless you count whatever the hell this is. We also have these really old Japanese trading cards drawn by Sugimori. These are the earliest drawings of a lot of these Pokemon, and it shows. There's no production Bible yet, like there was with the anime. No guide telling artists what the characters should look like at every angle. Don't forget that for the game, we only had the box art, whatever was in the game manual and guidebook, and the sprites. That's all we had to go on, until everything was set in stone for the anime. Most of how we know Pokemon today is because of that anime. But because this was before the anime, some things might look a little skewed. There's nothing wrong with that. It just makes it look that much more artful, and their poses that much more expressive. Look at that Charmander. That's so different from the cute design we have now. All of this points to the original idea for the design of Pokemon to be based on simple, cartoony animals. Somewhere around the middle of the franchise's history, things got a little complex. They desperately needed to simplify things and come back around. The first Pokemon they designed for Sun and Moon was Jangmo-o. It's not exactly the simplest design, but you can easily break him down into simple shapes. The colors are very reminiscent of the original 151 Pokemon. If you want to talk simple, you don't get much simpler than Rowlet. But there's something about him that makes him interesting. It's the simple shapes that make up the inside of this giant ball. It's almost not character design anymore, it's graphic design now. And just like a real owl, Rowlet becomes a different shape when its wings are out. Even if we turn Rowlet into a silhouette, his feet make him stand out. Oh, yeah, this is like one of those,
Who's that Pokemon?
Yeah, that. Yeah, okay, we know who it is. Now, compared to the original starter Pokemon, I'd say that Rowlet is a lot simpler. They may have gone a little too simple, but if we look at his evolutions compared to the evolutions of the original three starters, I'd say he fits right in. You've got the cute one, the teenage almost badass, and the guy your girlfriend tells you not to worry about. Decidueye, his final evolution, is a little more anthropomorphic than the final evolutions of the original starters. But it's not like it doesn't fit in with the other original 150 Pokemon that Sugimori created. By the way, I'm not saying 151 because he actually didn't create Mew. He created all the other ones. Both current and original generations have complex designs for their final evolutions. Did you know that Venusaur is Ken Sugimori's least favorite character to draw? It's because of his complexity. There's a lot going on there. And in contrast, his favorite Pokemon to draw is Gengar, because he's super easy to draw, because he's just a bunch of lines. I think Popplio fits in with the original starters the most. Maybe if we change his eyes a little bit, there we go. It's his simple two-part body and big fat arms. His head shape is just the right sort of distorted oval. Popplio got a lot of when he was first announced. I have no idea why. I think his design is excellent. It wasn't until they announced Primarina where everybody started to come around on Popplio as a starter. But man, do I have the opposite opinion. I think his design is way too complex even for a starter. It just looks like a mess of curves. How does that fit in? It doesn't even look like a creature anymore. Lastly, of course, there's Litten. Litten is just a cat. I guess we could do the head shape. Yeah, if any old schmo drew a cat's head, it would look like Litten. All of Litten's evolutions have these markings that might be an obscured version of the symbol for the alchemical element sulfur or brimstone. This symbol is otherwise known as the Leviathan Cross. It's a nod to him being a fire type, and his final evolution being a fire and dark type. With Incineroar, we have yet another final evolution that's anthropomorphic. Probably the most anthropomorphic out of all of them. A pretty aggressive change from the previous two forms, wouldn't you say? The original 150 Pokemon were designed solely by Ken Sugimori. But the Pokemon in Sun and Moon were created by a large team of designers, and like many of these big companies, it's unclear which designers did what. So with their one shared goal in mind, how close did they come to designing Pokemon that would fit in with the original 150? Well, the franchise started off using traditional medium, inks and watercolor. The watercolor look, which was a staple for Pokemon production art at the time, was being phased out a little bit before Ruby and Sapphire came out. Let's take these Sun and Moon starters and fix them up so they're drawn in the right style. So, how do you think they fit in with those trading cards? Do they look like they belong? What if we just shuffle them in with some other red and blue art? Personally, I think this shows that these starter designs have a rightful place with some of the best designs that Pokemon has to offer. And not to mention, it tickles that nostalgia bone without feeling too familiar, like it's some sort of cop-out or something. Maybe that's why Sun and Moon is the fastest selling game in the franchise. It's appealing to the old crowd, us people that grew up on the stuff and have the money to spend on it. And it's also appealing to the new crowd who doesn't know any better. They just want to see some cool designs. And that's exactly what they're getting. Except for this guy. Get that cube out of my face. But what do you guys think about the new starters in Pokemon Sun and Moon and the designs of all of the new Pokemon in general? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and just gently tap on that like button. And if you want to see more about my thoughts on the designs of the new Pokemon, you can head over to my channel, The Wulff Den, where I have a video on just that. Some designs are just awful. You can probably see I'm very passionate about that one right there. And don't you ever forget about the ShoddyCast Patreon. For just $3 a month, you can support us here, participate in exclusive chats, and get these videos early. And of course, there's even more perks than that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on Twitter, and I'll see you in another video. Have a good week.